Thank you for listening to Depictions Media Radio. Welcome back, everyone. We're here today with Gabriella Van Rij, and she is the founder of the hashtag Dare to Be Kind movement. A kindness expert, a keynote speaker who delivers talks that provide the groundwork for lasting change. Drawing from groundbreaking science, her immense cross-cultured experience, and her signature wit. Trust me, we're going to hear her laugh in a few minutes, and she's pretty awesome at that. Gabriella inspires organizations to tap into the power of kindness, the most underutilized skill in today's world. Welcome to the show, Gabriella.
Thank you for having me, Michael.
So, I do remember one of our pre-conversations. You do have a wonderful wit, so it was kind of cool that you put it in there.
Yeah,
more than one time.
It's my team. My team thinks I'm funny.
Well, maybe your team has an excellent point, right?
Yeah, maybe they really do. So I have been told that I have kind of a warped sense of humor, but laughable, not like irritating. Like,
yeah. So you have a kind of a mixed past.
Yep.
And that you were born in Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
You were an orphan.
I was an orphan. Yeah.
Yeah, and you were adopted by, I guess, a Dutch family. Is that right?
Absolutely, yes. I was adopted by a Dutch family at the age of 3. So I did spend 3 years, and this is the thing that's kind of special. I spent 3 years in a Catholic orphanage in a predominantly Muslim country. So that is kind of in itself a story that I can't enlighten you on because I don't remember.
That just sounds a little off kilter. A Catholic orphanage in a Islamic nation. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. That in itself is already, because people say sometimes, well, that must not be your name. And I say, well, that's the name the nuns gave me. Because, see, my mother gave me another name that I have, and that name is in my books, and that name is Nassim, and that apparently is as common as the name Mary or Helen would be for us.
Okay. I was going to say, was there a meaning to it, but I guess it's...
Oh, there is a meaning. It means a gentle breeze.
Well, if I may, that would be maybe part of your path in the Dare to Be Kind.
Yes, absolutely.
A gentle breeze.
But I kind of like what Gabriella means, too, because Gabriella means God is my might.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that brings me to something that I didn't know, is that I'm using part of the definition of my name in the entire concept of Dare to Be Kind, which is saying we all have an incredible knowledge and we all have this incredible internal might. And it's when I was writing the book and I had already my title that I had to look up what my name meant. Because, see, for me, as I was brought up Catholic, my name just meant the Archangel Gabriel, and I never gave it a second thought. Because that's what I was taught, right? Why would you question it? And so it's only when I wrote my book that I really had to look at the definition of my name.
Right. Yeah. Well, the Catholic Church is kind of that way. I grew up Roman Catholic. 13 years at Catholic school. Yay.
Yeah.
So I know how the nuns say they will fight you over who it is that you're truly named after, or the definition of your name. So yeah, you kind of had an experience along that one myself. So
you're the Archangel Michael, just so you know. So you have a heavy burden on your shoulders here.
Yeah. I'm the Archangel that carries the sword of God.
Yeah.
So how is it? You were born in Pakistan, adopted by a Dutch family, and you've lived in Canada, and now you live in the U.S. So there's a lot of story there.
I've lived in many other countries because my parents, when I was adopted, lived in Luxembourg, and my adopted father was a diplomat with the EU, and so we traveled from place to place. And just to kind of give your viewers a background here real quick, is I found out really quickly that I didn't fit in, that nobody looked like me, nobody had dark skin, and every time I would say to the teacher, like, yes, this is my cousin, or yes, this is my mother waiting at the school gate, they kind of called me a liar. So that kind of became my trigger, right? Like, what is this world, that always calls me a liar, and where I am speaking the truth? And I kind of thought, at a certain point, are they dumb, or am I just, I don't know what I am then? Because if they're intelligent and I have to explain to them all the time what adoption means, I just didn't know. But fast forward in modern times, we just didn't know what that meant. And one of the things that is maybe very crucial to this interview is that for people listening, the longing for belonging is a universal emotion. It's something that most of us ache for. We think it's our heart, right, that breaks, or we think that something is missing, and so we go after family or a married life or something because we think that will fill in that void of belonging. But belonging could be anything. It can be belong in the talent that you have chosen, belong in a group for the sports, belong in your family, not be an outcast. It is any of these things where you don't want to sit at the outside of the window looking in.
Right. So, I guess the question is, because you're visibly an outsider.
Yeah.
How long did it take you, and what was that process like to learn that lesson?
The process was learned actually faster than I thought. I learned that they were as afraid of me as I was of them. So that was a huge lesson, and I had that between 3 and 4. But that doesn't mean that you can put it into practice immediately. Mm-hmm. So the lesson was only learned in part, if that makes any sense, because the process came a little bit later. The process that came later was that I learned through hardship that it's actually easier to let someone believe what they want to believe. And maybe this is the lesson for all of us to learn, is it is fine. It is more than fine that all of us have an opinion. And for that, I just have to say, let's look at the climate in America or at the world at this moment. So it's fine that we have different opinions, but somehow these opinions cannot become judgments. So if there is a process that I learned, it's that I'm allowed to say to someone, oh, I love that dress, or I'm not that crazy about your new haircut. Why did you cut your hair, sweetheart? You know, something like that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But you hear immediately in my tone, and for the person that would see my body language, that there's not a malicious bone in my body. Now, when we do this over social media, it's a whole different conversation, okay?
Right.
But let's just stay face-to-face for now.
Okay.
But where it becomes a draw for internal pain, to the point that someone might feel harassed or bullied or left out or not included, is when we make it into a habit to leave them out and say, oh no, you're Catholic, or you're Muslim, or you're from that weird country that they speak about in the news. That is not an opinion anymore. That becomes a factual judgment. Something that you heard on the news, or something that you believe to be true, but you've never set foot in that country, and we talk about these countries as if we know it, as if our truth is written in stone, you know, and cannot be broken. And I try to teach with a lot of kindness that those judgments often come out of our own behavior, meaning when we grow up within the environment that we grow up in, and children that have moved around a lot understand this much better, is that environment will think A and B. The moment you move, let's say, from Luxembourg to Canada, your environment now thinks C and D. So that's completely different than what it was previously. And I feel that that is very, very essential in the conversation of how we learn to go through a process to make life better. We often struggle because we cannot see clearly beyond what our own values become as an adult, and which values and behaviors and habits were inherent to us. Like, let's say if my mother crosses the street each time she sees a hippie, I'm just giving a dumb example.
Yeah. So,
yeah? But that is something, as a little child, you take that in without knowing it. Mm-hmm. The moment you are, let's say, 22, and you end up in, what is that place called again? Oh my goodness. What is that place called? Coachella. And you find yourself in Coachella in California, which is an incredible, huge music festival. You will meet more hippies, just in any case as hippies, for that one event than you ever will in your entire life. And so if you have that little grain in you that you go, no, it's a habit, I don't like these people, then you will not enjoy Coachella, even if the music is absolutely stunning. But what this person needs to realize, and this is what I do when I work with people, is we go back to that. What is your opinion? And what did you learn? And because I have traveled so much, I can make this process a little bit easier for people. And then my last part of this, my own process, that I can give your listener, is very, very important lesson I learned. Blame is not the cure. Action is. I can blame life that I'm an orphan. I can blame life that my adopted family was so. I can blame that my teachers were in another era. I can go on and on and on. It's so terrible that I'll fall asleep in 30 seconds, Michael. So, I'm trying to say, when I listen to people, I'm as honest as I can be. Sometimes it's a bit tough. And I say blah, blah, blah to them. And they go, Gabriella! And you dare to be kind. I said, I'm doing this because this is kindness to you. You will go on wasting your time and my time for the next hour in the blah. And I'm trying to pull you out of that blah energy that you're in and say, who are you? Who cares who got you there? You are you. The moment you are 20, I think, come on, you're an adult. Every decision we make from then on, good or bad, let's at least acknowledge that we made it. And the last part is, I'm the first human being to tell you I'm hopelessly flawed, but you know what? I'm incredibly happy. And I don't want it any other way. I can't be perfect. And to strive for that. Yeah. But the honest truth is we strive for that. We strive for this perfection. We have to be good. Think of all these poor men and women out there, the young millennials that take 400 pictures to have one good selfie. If you look at my Instagram, guys, I look awful because I just snapped the shot, and who cares? That was the moment. Because I cannot take 400 shots, because you will never get the real me that way. It is true, though. Some people say that it's not fair what I say, because I do wear makeup. I do. I wear mascara, I wear lipstick. That is true. But you know what? That's my comfort zone.
I was going to say that could be part of your personality anyway.
Yeah, and I'm allowed to do that. But I don't embellish it to get the right angle, because the truth is, when I'm on TV, they ask me, what's your best angle? And I said, none of them. And then they laugh. Because the truth is, my angle comes from inside. Mm-hmm. And it's only when I talk that I hope through my passion that you feel that is Gabriella. Not the outside, not my big nose or my weird hairdo, or you know what I mean? That's just, I wish for one day, 1 hour, we could make everyone blind. And I know that's terrible to say, but then just play act it. Because you know what? If I may say one more thing about this process, when you meet people over the phone, like you and I, Michael, mm-hmm. I have no idea what you look like. And you know what? I want to keep it that way. Because this is how we connect. I connect to your voice, the timbre of it, the energy of it, and your words. Now I have to do what we call in the old days the real work, right?
Right.
We have to now work at creating a relationship without having to look what you wear. Do you wear the right sneakers? Do you have the right jeans on? Who cares? Because over the phone, I don't see any of that. Yeah. I can't judge it. I have no opinion. Now I have to work to create a relationship. And that is what I really mean when I say, let's work blind. It is actually really good when you have people on your social media. Don't go look at that picture. Just call them up because they said something awesome to you or commented. That's how you create a better life for yourself, for everyone around you.
That sounds like you've learned a lot of really valuable lessons from people around you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also what not to do, right?
Yeah.
It's not, sometimes you learn from the people that are negative and you see how they are and then you go, no, that's not me. It can't be me, And so you opt for something else.
That's something that people
they want to deny that they should be learning from the negative. They think that they're only supposed to learn from the positive.
No, you learn from the negative. Actually, all my lessons come from my own mistakes and from all the pain. And my favorite quote is, when you take your own pain, make it into your greatest strength, which in turn makes you the cause's best ally. So when you meet tomorrow someone that goes on and your ear is almost falling off, but you hear something, you hear a passion, you hear a slight vulnerability in the voice, then you know, if they're talking about spousal abuse, sexual abuse, homelessness, suicide, adoption, gay, lesbian, I can go on and on and on and on. Gun violence, it is because they lived it. And so they did that. They went that long road inside of them, find the answers. And they came out and said, I can't erase my pain. Because the truth is, Michael, none of us can. That's not the point of the lesson. The point of the lesson is, what did I get out of that? That people are nuts, that people are mean, and that for the rest of my life I'm going to lock myself up in a little cabin in Utah. By the way, I don't knock Utah. It's gorgeous.
Oh, I like Utah.
Okay, no, but I'm just saying.
But you know what I mean? The backwoods. I'm going to be hermited inside of some place because I'm afraid of the rest of the world, sort of thing. Don't do that, because you have now value and knowledge to bring someone else. And if you think I'm not serious, you can contact me. If you listen to this show, I will actually record your story, and we will put it on the Dare to Be Kind page, because I believe that through your pain, someone else that reads that on the internet, and we are anonymous, by the way, on purpose, so someone else that reads that says, oh my God, that person in California, that person in the Midwest that wrote that, how did they know? That's me. I'm going through exactly the same thing. Oh my. And that is the connection. And that, when people say we're all the same, I understand you. Shake your head and say, no, I'm not. I'm not anything like you. I don't want to be like you. That's our individual personality, and I understand that better than anyone. I want to be me. But our life experiences is where the connection lies. It is within these stories that we realize the experience is not unique. Our personality is unique. Some people are sad, some people are happy, some people are incredible jokers. Look at Robin Williams, what a guy. I mean, I can never not laugh when he comes into a video. I already laugh, period. Right? Yeah.
So,
but who knows what was inside of him, though? You know?
Of course, there's a side of him, but I believe this is because he went through something, like all of us. And some of us, it comes back to haunt us. And the reason, Michael, it comes back to haunt us is because we didn't work at it. We are embarrassed. And I did the opposite. I, at 17, had a psychologist, a therapist that I worked with for a year. And all my friends knew it. And sometimes I was asked, why do you do that? And I said, I got a chip on my shoulder and I'm trying to knock it off. Doesn't belong there. And I'm already 4'11", and it's going to make me shorter. And they would all hilariously laugh. But I felt that way, right? That was the best analogy to describe how I felt. Like something heavy was weighing me down.
Right.
And I didn't really understand what it was. And the moment I started talking with in a safety environment, one-on-one,
Mm-hmm.
it was gone. I just went, oh, that's why I don't like blonde people. Oh, wow, I'm really opinionated little thing. Wow, that's not nice. And I do that, and I do that. Oh, and it's eye-opening. And if you're not hard on yourself, if you just go in and say, I'm willing to experience whatever it is that's, not wrong with me, but that I would like to have a sort of feel good about it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you can't repair it, I want to feel better about it.
Right.
And that's it. And it sounds like it's just a jiffy, but the moment you change your mindset,
mm-hmm.
see, I think the hardest thing to do is to be kind to yourself.
Right. Well, okay, so let's get it. You sent me, I think it's seven. I'm going to call them 7 little lessons that we should actually learn. And
yes.
I'm going to start with the first one. That maybe you can tell us the importance in maybe how you actually learned the lesson. That without wanting to do the work yourself, instead of thinking you can hire someone to do the work, you will not work.
Yeah, it will not succeed. So what I mean with that is we hope that if I have a new husband, if I have a new partner, if I have a dog, if I get a child, everything that's wrong with me will dissipate. We all know that unfortunately that is not true. We only make it worse because now we have a child to take care of or a dog to take care of or, and I'm going to add something to this, and I hope nobody's going to get really mad at me, but if they do, please feel free to talk to me openly. It's like an addiction, right? If we can't have that, we will compensate it with that. And that compensation can lead to addiction. And I'm not at all talking about the normal addictions. I'm talking about the addictions that we don't ever talk about. Owning 3 houses, owning 5 cars. Mm-hmm. What is it that we're compensating? Okay? Step 2 is learning that the world is not against you.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, that was the next
They're
one.
not for you, but they're not against you either. The truth is, they don't know you. You're a complete stranger. So when they're angry at you, it's not because of you. It's just they have no clue. They have an opinion about you, and they get upset because you wear Gap jeans. I'm just saying something silly, but just to put it in perspective.
Well, I'm going to give some because some of the listeners out there, they know how I dress. They see me in public, and he's 6'4" male wearing a 5-inch stiletto. People like, look at you, little, huh? It's like, but it doesn't mean they're against me. They're just curious. Why in the world would you do that, right?
Yeah.
So why do you do what you do? Mm-hmm.
I wore stilettos for years when I was younger
mm-hmm.
because I was so embarrassed to be 4'11". I wanted to be taller, but I don't care anymore. Right now, I want to be comfortable.
Okay,
the third.
Mm-hmm.
The third lesson is learn to become a good listener. And don't nod your head and say, I am a good listener. None of us are. And I'll give you one example. When you say something to a friend, the friend is already formulating in their head the answer. And the best example is when it's about a funeral. Oh, I just came back from a funeral. And before you know it, they interrupt you and they say, oh, the last time I was at a funeral. So they're not listening. They haven't heard a word of what you said.
And it's something that people will get very defensive over and say, no. It's like, no. It is kind of like a human defense mechanism to start formulating the next answer before you hear what the response was of what you first said.
That's because somehow we're afraid to forget it, and somehow we think we need to interrupt everyone with our opinions. And the truth is, nothing is asked. As long as a person doesn't ask for advice, why would you give it? They're your friend. They're just talking. When a friend wants advice, I promise you, they'll turn around and say, what do you think about this? I need your help. The moment they have not said that, my lips are sealed.
Yeah.
The next one, stop being reactive. That has a lot to do with becoming a good listener. Being reactive is tiresome. We see something happen and then we all go, oh my God, this was terrible. And then just to add to the drama, we are now going to call 5 other girlfriends, in your case maybe 5 other male friends, and we're going to tell them about the drama of this one person that did us wrong. We blow it all up out of proportion before 1 hour has passed. Don't react to it. Just let it happen, and when you feel reactive, inside of you, start thinking, really thinking, what is it that triggered me? What word did he or she say that made me reactive? That's it, because it's always something. It's always a word.
Yeah.
That's it.
And in that case, could it be it's a perceived value to that word, not actually what the other person meant?
It has nothing to do with the person. This is why I know for a fact that we're bad communicators. Because if I'm reactive and I really can't hold it, which is rare, but if really I get upset, I will put my left hand up, like straight up, like stop, and then I'll say, I'm so sorry, I'm not listening to you anymore, not because it isn't a great story, but because I am so triggered over that one word. Could you give me a minute? And that 1 minute, you drink some water, you go to the washroom, you wash your hands, whatever it is. It totally changes your energy, it changes your perspective, it changes the person who heard you. Because now they'll continue the story without that one word. And you can be that incredible friend and listen. Wow. And then don't engage in the drama of others. I kind of already answered that in being, the world is not against you, and becoming a good listener and stop being reactive. So it's kind of that same lesson, right? The drama of others is not yours. Just remember that. Don't take it on. And then the hardest lesson to learn, especially if your base is Christianity, it is that we are not taught to be kind to self. So here I am telling you, dare to be kind to yourself. And don't apologize. If you need to cancel an interview because you're too tired or because you're a crybaby that day, say it. I feel so awful. Say it. Be vulnerable enough to say the truth. That also will set you free towards the person and towards receiving the kindness back, right? When you need kindness for self.
Right.
And the last one is my favorite. Dare to be kind to everyone. It takes less than a minute, under 60 seconds, to help any other human being, stranger or no stranger, to help them go from a negative space to a positive place. Be the difference.
You sound like so many others that we've had on the show, and one even talked about the power of a smile.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't. The point is, it doesn't take much. It doesn't cost a lot, and it doesn't take a lot of energy to be kind to others, right? No.
Yeah, my slogan for our to be kind, one moment, one person, one kindness, be the difference. That's the short version. And the other version is to understand that we all want a safer world. We want safer communities. And safer means all of it. Kindness, peace, that the social issues die down, that we can all live without having to look over our shoulder for anything, that we can be kind and respectful to the person next to us. So to create these safer communities, the method is kindness and the vehicle is you. That's it.
You make everything sound so simple, but what happens now that we add human beings to it? Does it muck up?
Well, that's why I hope people come and learn. And I'm trying to create an online course, but I'm more than willing if there are, let's say that there are at least 20 people, then I'm willing to put up and show them the methods, the real methods that they can have to do this, and how to apply it in your own life. But I would say start with yourself, and then start looking around you. Simply really looking. Put the phone down, put everything down, and when you drive from here to your grocery store, don't use your phone till you get back home, unless you need it for your grocery list. But for the rest, don't use it. And start looking around you. You will be amazed what you see. There's a whole world out there with people needing help with little things. And none of it has to do with money. I want to be very, very clear on that. Nothing has to do with money.
Yeah. You know, that's kind of amazing that you say that, because my next door neighbor, she's going through some stuff, and she needed help getting to the grocery store. So I took her to the grocery store, and there was another lady who dropped her whole entire basket on the floor. And I helped her pick up everything, and she was walking with a walker. I helped her get the basket onto the walker, put everything back in the basket. And it's like, it didn't take me nothing to do it. It's like, it was... What would our world look like?
Right?
Yeah. What would our world look like if everybody was just to start being kind to each other? What would that look like?
I think it would be awesome. Mm-hmm. To me, it's... I do it every day, so for me, kindness has become a daily habit. Mm-hmm. But, you know, maybe this helps for your listeners. And I hope you laugh when you hear this out of my mouth, but I'm already laughing. And it's like, okay, let's pretend that you wake up. You're a bit in a bad mood. If you don't walk out of your house or your apartment saying, I'm going to be incredibly mean to this person today. We don't wake up like that. Never. None of us. First of all, we're too self-absorbed. We're thinking about our own problems. And we're trying to straighten out our own lives. But, so think of it. When you walk out a little grumpy, how often would you need the person that's kind to you? Mm-hmm. So try it. It's really amazing, and just stick with it. You'll get better and better and better at it.
So, okay, let's start with this. Okay, we wake up, we're in a bad mood. Just something happened during our sleep, and we're in a bad mood when we wake up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If we walk out the door and somebody comes across us and says, "Good morning, how's your day going?" Doesn't our day start to change right from that?
Yes, because we are acknowledged. One of the things that you can find on my website is that nobody wants to go through life unnoticed, unwanted, or unloved. Nobody. So all we need to do is truly be kind.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And kindness starts with just a simple acknowledgement?
No, that's not true either. Kindness just starts with understanding what kindness is. And I would almost refer all your listeners, I would love to come back on your show when the book is published at the end of the year. And because then I will go a little bit deeper on that. But there is a big difference between nice, kindness, compassion, acceptance, and empathy. But that would, just to open that can of worms, would be huge. But let's start with kindness for right now.
We'll say that we're gonna let you plug the book now, but we're gonna save that interview for when the book's about to launch, right?
That's super. Thank you. I appreciate that. See, that's very kind of you. It is.
Yeah. Well, I do my best. I'm not going to say I try, because that means to, as we've all of our listeners have learned in the past 2 other interviews, try. The word try means to struggle, which means to choke yourself off. So I do my best, and I'm in the process of doing better. So thank you. But that's important to get at, because I didn't actually mention this in your intro. You are actually a published author, and you a published novelist. Is that right?
No, not novelist. I'm an author of 3 books. With All My Might, I Can Find My Might, and Watch Your Delivery, which is a communication book. And let's say all the people that I meet have really requested that I make a kindness book. So I am, and it will launch somewhere between Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's really, for me, this is a book that can be truly like a gift for under the Christmas tree. It's for everyone above 11, honestly. It's for anyone.
Yeah, anyone above 11, and I guess it's for me. That was the about close somewhere between 9 and 11 is where I really that all the kids around me started teasing me for being different.
Okay.
So it's kind of interesting that you're saying that that the book is for the it's getting close to that age group, you know? And starting age group. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Because does something socially happen to us that like I said, I started getting bullied for being different around that age.
Yeah, I honestly think that in today's world, it starts even earlier now. We're already at 7, 8. But yes, I would say between 9, 10, 11 are those crucial moments that we really have these growth spurts, right? We're suddenly not a total baby anymore. We're not a teen yet. We're in that in-between phase, and we're doing a lot of learning and a lot of connecting with others through sports and creativity and all kinds of engagements. And so, yeah, I basically was bullied from the age of 3 all the way till I quit school. So I'm glad I'm out of it. I hope that's okay to say.
It is okay to say. It's like, hey, you know what? Some of us find our way out of it a little earlier than others, but all of us can find our way out of it, right?
Yep.
And that's the real point, to especially having you come on the show, that people need to learn that, especially that one lesson: the world is not against us.
Yep.
So it's really important lesson. So what are some of the best ways that people can get a hold of you to work with you?
Okay, so very easy. Don't even bother with my last name because it's way too difficult. So you can either go to, it's too difficult for me even. So just go to the website gabriella.global, no .com, .global, because I'm global. And that's one way. There's no email on there, but there's a contact form. You just tell me what you need, what you want. That's one way. The other way is to go to the daretobekindmovement.com website. That's another way. Or just do hashtag daretobekindnd, and you will find us everywhere on social media. We're on LinkedIn. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
Instagram.
We found
everywhere.
each other on LinkedIn, as I remember, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it's that easy.
Yeah. I'll feel, because my listeners don't always know this, is like, see, I found her on LinkedIn, and then I began the cyber stalking. And started finding you everywhere else. But that is actually meant in a kind way, because in order for us to have this conversation, I have to learn a lot about you.
Aww, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's nice. But see, we often don't want to be open about it. Like, this conversation was not that vulnerable yet. But there are conversations that I have with people that are really vulnerable, that I'll burst into tears just having to tell it, right? But I do feel that if we are like that, if we are genuine, then the person across from you grows with you.
Right.
There's no way that person is going to point the finger at you. Never. It's not possible. Not even when we're 7 years old in school. Mm-hmm. But the problem is we don't want to be vulnerable.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right there. That would be the real problem. So
yeah. That's the most beautiful note, actually, to stop, because it's a good thing to provoke people to think about that.
Yeah.
To think about vulnerability and why we stop it.
So I'm going to invite everybody to actually go find you online. And
okay, that would be awesome.
Maybe a good place for them to start is for them for them to get you to help them define what vulnerable really should mean.
Yep.
Okay, so it's the hashtag Dare to Be Kind.
Yep.
Gabriella.global and daretobekindmovement.com. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. So, and also I invite everybody to go look for Gabriella on. I will put a link to your to your Amazon page, and so people can actually look at your books also.
Okay, super. Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us today. It's been wonderful. You're really living what it is that you say you want to do, and that's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, Michael.
I just need to know. So I wish upon that shooting star, and then I wondered where you are. Is it destiny, or is it meant to be?
This show has been produced by Depictions Media. Please contact us at depictions.media for more information.